And today we're going to talk about if there's other places around the world that maybe there's that Skinwalker-esque sort of situation going on where there's a cluster of strange happenings and oddities that kind of defy what we know about science. For all the three crazy things that are going on at the Skinwalker Ranch and the Blind Frog Ranch in Utah's Uinta Basin, there could be other portal locations around the world with the same sort of alchemy that attracts the strange paranormal clusters. And that's what we want to talk about today. Researcher Dennis Guern and I have long wondered if cryptids and hauntings, poltergeists, strange lights, UFOs, aliens, and unknown natural forces sometimes concentrate in one area because of some important element. So it must be something that's always there for that cluster to be located in that location, which would make something in the earth a likely culprit. Dennis and I have narrowed down our focus of ancient giants, advanced civilizations, and UFO skinwalker-like situations to locations where there are rare earth elements, as well as mining of copper and gold. There seems to be a strong correlation. And we will discuss some locations around the world that may meet this criteria. The Bradshaw Mountains in Arizona are an area of high strangeness, and there's some real red flags going on in the Bradshaw Range, which is a centrally located mountain range. It's long been associated with gold and mining, as well as UFOs, strange cryptids, reported portals, and to put icing on the weird cake, the government bought the Bradshaw Ranch and won't let the public wander the grounds anymore. What is their interest there? The local speculation is that they found an important portal there and they wish to observe it or have, or test it, or that they have planted an underground base in the Bradshaws. And so it's become quite the, I guess what we would say to most people, an urban legend. But there seems to be a lot of validity to this. We do know they did buy the ranch. We do know that they did stop allowing people to walk around the grounds. A few people have snuck in and found some interesting things. And in this one photo, a couple had gotten into the grounds and they took a picture of these two paw prints. But as you can see, they stand alone. There's nothing else around there. So that's a real curious thing. And in fact, things that I'm discussing here in this video, I will be putting links in the description below so that y'all can get more information. I really encourage people to chase things on their own. Just because Dennis and I might have come to some conclusions or narrowed the field doesn't mean that it sticks with you or that you should just take it. You need to research it more, come to your own conclusion. You don't need to have our conclusion. You'll probably come up with your own. But I definitely want to give you the tools so that you can do that. There's a place in Siberia called Devil's Cemetery. This is in Tunguska. Now, those of you who know about the Tunguska situation, that word really brings to mind the early 1900s when there was a meteor crash. They think it might have been above the surface, but it obliterated quite a bit of land, but didn't seem to leave really any remnants. And so it was quite a curiosity. It had affected electricity and put out some strange lights all the way to as far as England. It's been a place of some controversy and questioning about what actually occurred there. But there's a location there in Tunguska that is referred to as the Devil's Cemetery. And I think that's kind of a weird term because a cemetery is someplace where you bury something. So Dennis and I have come to wonder if these locations around the globe where a meteorite might crash have left something buried, something that could become a beacon a way to sort of tag a place on the planet. I mean, suppose you're an alien and you're looking for certain elements that you recognize from your own location. You're hoping to find and harvest more of it around the universe. Well, if you find that element here in our ground, that would definitely draw your attention. So that could be one of the things, or simply just a way for them to leave a little tag that they can easily track and find their way back. Dennis has come to the conclusion, which I think is incredibly valid, that these rare earth elements may be the commonality with these locations that have that skinwalker-ish kind of thing going on, a cluster of very bizarre things that seem to defy what we know about physics and what we know about the nature of the universe, and a lot of paranormal content. And we'll discuss that a little bit further in this video. The Devil's Cemetery is a meadow, and it's covered with remnants of birds and animals that for some reason do not decompose. Now, if y'all remember from Skinwalker Ranch, that was kind of an interesting thing. They had a calf that had died mysteriously. They dragged it away to the edge of the ranch, hoping to just let nature take its course. But no bugs and no animals came to eat this item. So that's another sort of commonality there. Vegetation on the meadow in the Devil's Cemetery is rather scarce. There's no trees. Trees branches around the area are charred. Animals do not live there, and people who happen to come to the meadow develop headaches and unexplained anxiety. They think that there's some sort of energy left behind by the meteorite hit. And it's kind of interesting, too, because if we reflect back to the mystery at Blind Frog Ranch, they did find some meteor remnants there and some interesting evidence of odd things going on in relation to that area. And now one person was quoted about the Devil's Cemetery, and what they said was, "My compass's hand froze and pointed at the north only. By the evening, people developed tingling sensation in their bodies and developed toothaches. Everybody noticed growing anxiety. Shortly after 9 p.m., we approached the meadow, and our radio froze, and we turned back." Of course, we know that instrument failure is another thing that we find in these locations. In keeping with Dennis's hunch of REEs, rare earth elements, Tunguska has an interesting finding: the discovery of anomalies of platinum group elements and rare earth elements found in a possible comet crash zone. So there is deposited in that area the very thing we think might be a commonality, the rare earth elements. Another location that we're looking at is Hoia Baciu in Romania. And those who love Destination Truth probably saw Josh Gates do an episode from the forest. There was a circle in the forest where no trees would grow. And the team had seen strange spook lights. They got nauseous. They felt weird and scared. One person even got thrown and had scratches. And let's look at the history of this area. This forest has it all: mysterious disappearances, UFOs, ghosts, strange cryptids, and even ancient tombs. Hoia Baciu is home to the region's oldest Neolithic settlement, believed to have originated in 6500 BCE. The site includes archaic houses and a burial ground. Hoia Baciu was named for a shepherd who vanished in the forest along with his flock of 200 sheep. According to the local legend, neither sheep herder or sheep were ever seen again. Most locals who live near the forest are afraid to go inside, believing that they also will disappear. Those brave enough to venture within have suffered from strange rashes, headaches, burns, scratches, and nausea, among other ailments. Now, taking that back to Skinwalker Ranch, we recognize that many of the people there have had similar sensations. People reportedly experience a high-level anxiety while in the forest, along with the sensation of being watched. Electronics often malfunction in the area as well. Ding, ding, ding. There's another clue for us. Another location is the Uinta Basin in Utah. And this is the home of both Skinwalker Ranch and the Blind Frog Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch, the secret of Skinwalker Ranch is found on the History Channel, and the mystery of Blind Frog Ranch is found on Discovery Channel. Both locations are in the northeast corner of Utah in the Uinta Basin. It's an oil-rich land with an interesting geology, as well as a lot of REEs, rare earth elements. In mapping target locations of the advanced ancient giant culture, Dennis and I have repeatedly ran into locations of gold and copper mining and ancient waterways, but also rare earth elements in these locations. It seems the higher concentration of REEs, the more strangeness. Countries like Chile are chock full of craziness and major mining. Now, let's go to Chile. Chile is not just the largest producer of copper in the world, but it's also a location of some of the weirdest things ever reported. It is also considered globally to be the biggest UFO encounter country. Do you think there's a coincidence that mining and UFOs and strangeness go hand in hand? We think so. As odd as this little mummy from the Atacama Desert is, supposedly it was fully grown. It has been explained as a fetus, but with bones of a 6 or 8 year old. Scientists conclude it was perhaps a fetus with a rare growth disorder that aged bones quickly. If you watched Destination Truth, you likely saw the Chilean episode Inside the Mines, where Josh found a very strange skeleton buried. As well, the team was startled to find and document strange UFO lights, ones that the citizens often report. The Chile's mining areas are reportedly some of their biggest UFO encounters and sightings. It's off the charts. Considering the area isn't greatly populated, the incidents of UFOs are really crazy. What's referred to as a Chilean air rod was reported by an F-5 fighter pilot. This thing was reported as having no wings, sitting stationary, and able to cloak itself in some kind of a mist. It was last seen jetting at a high speed toward Easter Island. And I'll give you a link to the video of that below. The alicanto is a mythical nocturnal bird of the desert of the Atacama of Chile, pertaining to Chilean mythology. Legend says that the alicanto's wings shine at night with beautiful metallic colors and their eyes emit strange lights. The color of the wings may indicate a type of ore that it eats, golden if they are gold mining and silvery if they are silver mining. Some descriptions also portray the color of the wings as copper green. One doesn't have to take a big leap to imagine that something metallic and emitting light in a vacant desert might become legendary. Chile is definitely meeting some of the crazy Skinwalker-esque qualities. Now let's go on to talk a little bit about portal characteristics. Whether the focus was gold or copper mining or mining for rare earth elements, it seems that the clusters of hauntings, UFOs, aliens, strange lights, cattle mutilations, skinwalker creatures, cryptids, and other physical responses to human bodies are all commonalities. Are rare earth element deposits made by an alien culture in order to use as a geographic tag to find the planet, or did meteorites and comets hit depositing elements from their own worlds that they now can recognize from space? Or are portals created utilizing rare earth elements? Is that some sort of a component to the process? Some of these clues might lie in the ancient legends of the native people. The Paiutes of Death Valley, California, reported a culture of people called the Have-Masuvs, who arrived by boat back when the land there had lakes like Lake Panamint and Lake Manly. They were said to bury themselves inside the mountains and occasionally leave to trade with other cultures by boat. What was traded? Well, the greatest find underground in Death Valley is precious metals. And the culture was said to have wand-like devices that could be pointed and either stun a person or kill them instantly. It is said that when the lakes dried up, the Have-Masuvs simply started flying in metal airships. Now let's go on to talk a little bit about rare earth elements. Rare earth elements are a set of 7 metallic elements, and I will try to say them, although I'm not going to pronounce them well. Lithium, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, ytterbium, luteum, scandium, and yttrium. The Mountain Pass Mine, San Bernardino County, California, was the only active producer of rare earth elements in the United States in 2013. This lies midway between Death Valley and Lake Havasu in the California Mojave Desert. Today, China is now the biggest producer of REEs. Rare earth elements are used as catalysts and phosphors and polishing compounds. These are used for air pollution control, illuminated screens on electronic devices, the polishing of optical quality glass. All of these products are expected to experience a rising demand, so mining them has become a focus. And although that's what they're used for, their uses could go way beyond the commonly accepted value. In other words, another culture from an alien existence could utilize these elements in ways we never imagined. In order of production of REEs, with the first one listed as the largest producer down in descending order, China is the major location of mining REEs, also a major UFO area. The United States is second as a major REE miner and a major UFO area. Other countries in descending order are Burma, Australia, Madagascar, India, Thailand, Brazil, and Vietnam. Now, we could extrapolate that there would be more portals in China, say, versus Brazil, but producing the most of an item and having the most of an item aren't always compatible. It's interesting to note that countries like China and the US, who make a lot of electronics and advanced instrumentation, happen to want the elements more than other countries. That makes sense, as they utilize them more. But can we make a jump in conclusions that advanced aliens might also seek out REEs and want to mine them in areas with the most amounts of these elements? And might some of the advancements in our culture come from contact with aliens and agreements for mining? Could it be that some of our technology jumps did come from alien culture, but they have yet to trust us with the higher forms of technology that also utilize these elements for portal deployment? Could regions with enormous UFO sightings actually be citizens noting the comings and goings of alien cultures here to pick up what China and the US have mined in an agreement? Let's talk about what is an alien. We often interchange the concept with Hollywood's portal of beings with constellations far away who travel here, but it could also mean other things. Perhaps it means a culture that's always been beside us but utilizes energy rather than matter to manifest itself. In other words, ghostly-like beings who are right here with us but we don't see them. It could also mean another dimensional being or a being from a parallel world. The last possible thing an alien could be is a being that has always shared our world but remained undetected, kind of like a Bigfoot. With sightings of USOs, unidentified submersible objects, this concept has been bandied around that an intelligent people could live below the sea with advancements that allow air and water travel, or possibly beings from another world who settled in our seabeds. When we speak about alien finds and debris from crashes, isn't a strange metal high on the list? The one reported from the Roswell crash in 1947 was like an aluminum, but when you balled it up, it sprang back into its original composition. Might rare earth elements be a part of alien metallics? Do they have properties that might seem exceptional for building a lightweight vehicle with strength and resilience? Dennis and I have applied some notions to the craziness at Blind Frog Ranch, where they could take sand and heat it up into a metal inside of a crucible. What if there are rare earth elements in the sand? If this were so, producing metals for ships and the like might not be a huge undertaking for aliens. If done here on Earth in arid deserts, the collection of sand in these areas, heated high enough, could produce metals for ship construction. In fact, isn't it interesting how places like the Gobi Desert, Mojave Desert, Atacama Desert seem to attract UFOs in large numbers in such barren areas? When it comes to the association of copper mines, Dennis and I first started investigating this in relation to ancient giant finds near mining and copper mining areas, ones that the native people claim they did not mine. A giant culture had once shown that they valued copper implements, armor, precious copper plates, and that they used for archival writing. Let's look at the top 10 copper mines. Chile, USA, Peru, Mexico. Those are 4 of the most busy UFO highways on Earth. Ultimately, Dennis and I hope to open minds and insert wonder on the matter of alleys, weird alleys in our world. The question raised at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah has been an important one to study with science and documentation, as the subject matter seems to be categorized as magic to most of the public. Coming out and saying, yeah, weird stuff is going on, and actually studying it is the only way to remove the magic and insert the science.